It's now time for Remember When with Uncle John. John Guess, Ouachita County's resident storyteller and local historian. Sit back now and enjoy a walk down memory lane as John recalls the days of yesteryear in his own unique way. You never know, some of it might even be true. So here's Uncle John, along with his trusty sidekick, Kelly Blair.
Back on Remember When with Uncle John. Well, we've survived a Monday, rolling along here on a Tuesday, here on the Remember When with Uncle John show. And Johnny, you said you got a chance to catch up with some old friends. That's good, but sometimes it's not always a great reason.
Well, my lifelong friend, Bobby Rife, that I grew up with, his older sister, Sherry Blankenship, graduated with my brother at Chittister in 1969. And then Bobby and his brother Billy Roy started to school at Chittister in the fall of 1969. Bobby and I attended the 4th and 5th grade together there at Chittister and became, lifelong friends. And Bobby now lives in Claremont, Florida, and his brother Billy Roy lives in right outside of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Dang, they got it.
And their sister passed away, Marty Blankenship. Passed away a week ago Thursday, and suddenly, and she had 2 children, Blaze, who just graduated from Camden Fairview, just a few weeks ago, and she had a young son named Ryder that's 11 years old. And Bobby and Bill Roy had to come in, all this happened suddenly, so they didn't have time to do anything. They came and stayed with me, and we had another friend, Miss Nancy Jo Diffie, formerly Nancy Jo Spear here from Camden, and she came down from Mena, her and her youngest daughter, and they all stayed at my house, and it was like, of course, it was a sad situation, of course, them losing their sister and us, but we had a great time talking about growing up in Chittister and in Camden, and Bobby and Bill Roy both were kind of, they were just kind of numb behind it. Of course, naturally, and the children were too, but a lot of good people, come together, and we had a great memorial last Wednesday down at Little Missouri Methodist Church right down from Red Hill where I live for Marty, and she's laid to rest out in the cemetery there at Missouri by her mother and dad. And but we had a great time, there was about, at one time, I think there was 10 to 12 people stayed in my house.
Wow.
And, it was, of course, you got Otis the Wonder Dog there, too.
Hotel de Guess.
But we had a great time. We had so many people brought food. We had plenty of food and a lot of camaraderie, and all the beds, and the kids were sleeping on the floor and under the coffee table and behind the bookshelf and everything else, But
had them tucked away everywhere.
We had them tucked away everywhere, but we had a great time under, a set of bad circumstances, but had a great time. And
well, isn't it funny? Funerals are often like that. I can remember as a child that, and I'll be honest, I don't even remember whose funeral it was, but I remember like every cousin on Dad's side of the family ended up down at Stevens at our place, and I remember running around the yard having fun, just a big old time playing with all the cousins that I hadn't seen in a couple of years. And then after a while, you stop and you're like, wait a minute, we're here for a funeral. This is supposed to be a sad time, really weird.
Lana's grandson, 7 years old, Mr. Braden, he was there, and Ryder's 11, and Nancy Jo's daughter, Tootie, is 10. And I'm telling you right now, millions of dollars worth of technology at their fingertips. The 3 of them spent hours with a half-empty water bottle flipping it up in the air to make it land on the flats on the bottom.
Yep, trying to stick the landing.
We watched them, and I'm telling you, every once in a while it would get on somebody's nerves, and they'd tell them to go on with it, and I'd say, no, just wait a minute. They're not on their phones. They're not on their tablets. They're not hooked up to some game watching galaxies explode and missiles and all that. They've got a bottle of water that's half empty, flipping it up in the air, seeing who can make it stick.
Well, as Paul Harvey would say, you know what the rest of that story is, right?
What?
Your Wi-Fi out there at Red Hill's horrible, man.
Well, no, but there's plenty of stuff for them to do besides that. But just want to, again, extend a a thank you to everybody that helped us out. Of course, the staff at Proctor Funeral Home and all the people that brought food and all the people that came by to visit and called and checked on Bobby and Billy Roy and Blaze and Ryder. And, Bobby's wife, Miss Terry, she was just so, she was on top of things and doing whatever we needed to do. And just want to thank everybody and appreciate it. And it kind of restores your faith when things like that happen and everybody comes to your aid.
No doubt about it, man. Sometimes the worst of times brings out the best in people.
Absolutely.
Hey, and don't forget, folks, we'll be right back here tomorrow, ready to do it all over again, bringing our great sponsors with us, Sherwin-Williams House Paint, ProMed Ambulance Service, and the Shopper's Guide. Be sure and go by and see those folks and tell them just how much you appreciate them supporting us with the Remember When with Uncle John show, and hopefully you can show your support as well. And don't forget, every once in a while, disconnect that Wi-Fi. Tell the kids, oh, gosh, we're just going to have to come up with something else to do.
And want to remind everybody about our tent revival every night this week in Chittister. Starts at 7 o'clock right in the middle of town. Got a different pastor every night. Everybody's invited. Come on out.
Y'all not going to flip the water bottle?
No,
are you?
no.
I guess we'll see you tomorrow, John.
See you tomorrow, Kelly.
You've been listening to Remember When with Uncle John on Y95. This broadcast can be heard each weekday morning at 6:45 on South Arkansas's favorite station, Y95.